Welcome to Into the Mirror, a podcast where we discuss healing and transformations. My name is Alexander, and this is my co-host Brody. We're guest starring Coach John today. We're going to be doing an interview with Coach John, a health coach. And Brody, how are you doing today first?
I'm doing really well, and I'm very happy to have John on the podcast. He has inspired me over the years. I've seen his content on Facebook, and it's been very helpful and helping expand my mind, so I'm very happy to have him on here.
So we're going to kind of be discussing limiting beliefs, and we all have unique beliefs, more expansive and growing and sometimes weird, right? I have beliefs that people consider very different, and I'm grateful for that because the old ones did not serve me. So anyway, Brody, why don't you start it off, take care of it, talk to John.
So John, the first question, Coach, we have for you is, how did you originally get into health and awakening?
I've always been in health. I mean, I've been in fitness since I was 13. At 19, I was the provincial champion, junior bodybuilding champion, and I was in the Mr. Universe competition 27 years ago. So, I mean, I'm 50 years old now. I've been in health since I was 13. I started this. And it's been a lifetime for me that I've always been working on health. But see, in my younger years, I was really working on this physical, like get bigger, like that's what everyone is doing, like getting bigger, more muscular, like working on separate body parts, bodybuilding type of training, eating copious amounts of protein. I got into overeating and killing myself in the gym. And this is what I thought health was, like ripping myself apart and eating a whole bunch of protein. And that worked for a while, but kind of somewhere between 35, 40, it started to slow down in its work. And it started to seem like it was almost like it was making me sick. And I didn't understand why.
When you were in this, like, I took steroids and stuff when I would do drugs, so I know that I felt powerful at first when I would take them. Like, it made me just not the cycle it more than, and it was a great feeling. I mean, I was also doing opioids with them, like it was because like testosterone levels and opioids, and it was just the chemistry crap, like of trying to make yourself well. But that's amazing. So you spent your life, your health, like doing that. Like I just know that's all part of that world, and it's not healthy.
That is a part of that world. I did all of that things, chasing that world. Like, that's what happiness is, like the physical body, the physical things. Like, something from outside of yourself is going to make yourself happy. It's kind of a young man's idea. I say it's kind of the start of life. It's a masculine start to life, like feeling, sensation, physical. It's very physical. Like, I'm going out to build my business and get my money and get my wife and get my car and get my house and get my stuff, and I'm going to go get my food and get my protein and get my workout. Like, it's about getting. Like, you know, and the more I get, the better I'm going to be. Like, that's the thought process of it. And it's very simple and rudimentary, and it's the way we begin life. But really, truly, it's not going to fulfill you, because life must have a balance. Like, it can't only be getting, it has to be getting and giving, or that's equal to like getting and not getting. So there has to be some time where we're taking some time away from things. Like, it's like eating and not eating is a thing. Like, according to bodybuilding, not eating is not a thing. But not eating is natural. And we've kind of come away from this idea, especially with ideas like bodybuilding, where it's about...
Your mic's good right there, by the way. It sounds really good there.
Yeah.
Your talking sounds really good.
You're better when you're a little bit away from the mic.
Now it sounds good and clear. Like, sorry, just there you go.
Yeah. I'm saying that, you know, the idea that we have to rip our body and get stuff to make ourselves healthy, that is not like health. That is the start of disease.
Yeah.
It's no different than like obsessively building your business.
Yeah. Or drug addiction.
Trying to make money to be happy, like trying to make money to be happy, like that's going to make you happy. Or even like trying to find a partner to be happy.
Yeah.
Or trying to have a child to be happy. Or trying to get a holiday to be happy. Or make more money to be happy. Like it's just not fulfilling to get stuff. Like true happiness isn't an external thing. And we don't recognize this until we kind of lose our health or lose our happiness or get lost in an addiction or get lost in something that kind of bumps us into, like, we lose our business or financial sort of wreck, or we lose our health, or we lose our relationship, or we lose our wealth, that we say, fuck, something's not right. Mm-hmm. And then we open ourselves up to what else there is. Like, there is more than just getting stuff.
Yeah, I agree. I think I love things, like nice things that are built from love, but only when it comes from my heart. I tell Brody this all the time. Like, it has to come from within that. Like, and once I found that, stuff became actually fulfilling. Everything becomes fulfilling all of a sudden. Like, everything I do, even the laundry is fulfilling. And that came from, like, I still don't like it, but I mean, like, it just, I feel peace and I feel a connection to things now. And just like you said, it took falling off. You could check a lot of those things off for me.
Yeah, and I mean, for me, it's the same way. I had brain surgery about 6.5 years ago, and they cut open my skull and everything. And it wasn't until my health fell apart, the same thing, that I realized that there's way more out there in consciousness, and there's just way more than getting a Ferrari or something of that nature, and not that there's anything wrong necessarily with a Ferrari. If that really makes you happy, and whatever, you enjoy it if that contributes to you having fun in life, but it's not everything. But I kind of wanted to shift gears a little bit here and kind of talk about limiting beliefs and, like, human potential and what is actually possible, because I know on your page I've seen certain things about not eating food for extended periods of time, as well as you are really into fruits and natural things. So I just would like to know what do you think is possible in this life?
Well, I think whenever we hit this point in our life where we become open to some alternative ideas, and that's what has to happen. We have to come away, like, we kind of got to bump into something that makes us recognize that the ideas that I have are creating what I've got. And therefore, if I've got something that I don't want, like I've lost my health or my relationship or my wealth or all of the above, like, obviously something is not working with my thought process. So I need to change my thought process, so then I become open to some alternative thought. Now, this is the thing. It's to see that there are really kind of two ways to kind of look at life, and we need to be able to look at life in two different ways. And I think we need to see that there are the ideas of the West and there are the ideas of the East. And like, as long as we keep kind of standing on one side, pointing at the other guy like they're wrong and they're stupid and they're the bad guy, like, as long as we kind of keep living with this limiting belief that some guys are bad and some guys are good, like, basically everyone's trying to do their best with what they've got and what they know. So we kind of got to get out of, like, there's a bad guy and there's even a bad part of me. Like, even though I made some mistakes, even though I goofed up with this and I goofed up with that and I lost this and I lost that I kind of maybe needed to, in order for me to kind of get myself into a space that I was aware and I needed to make change. So even the loss served me. It's to flip the switch from life is happening to me to, life is happening for me, right? That's a shift of perspective. So it's coming from that limiting belief that, I need to get this Ferrari to be happy, or I need to get this girl to be happy, or I need to get these muscles to be happy. And it's like coming to like, no, I need to fill my happiness. And then if I do, I'll have the Ferrari and I'll have the girl and I'll have the health if I fill my internal happiness first. So it's a change of focus from trying to get the things externally to trying to fill the thing internally. So if I can make that turn in my thought process, then I can begin to change my energy from within. Now, if I start to change my energy from the inside, well, then I say there's no limit to what you can do if you're building yourself from within and then seeing and accepting joyfully what comes in response from the out from your work within. So fasting helps us clean out the internal gut brain or the inside. This is what we're trying to do. We're trying to get the stuff out. Like, it's a change of mind to recognize that health is something inside of me rather than something I need to get.
So now you've instead of all the weightlifting and all that, now you've transitioned to fasting. Like, what is your beliefs actually, just so people know what you practice?
Well, I mean, now I definitely include movement, but my movement isn't about breaking my body. You see, the modern day idea of exercise is it's about tearing the body down to make the body build up. This is the science approach. Tear the body down to make it get built up. But, I mean, especially when you come to the Middle Ages, beyond 30, 40, 50 years, the life starts to get so big and responsible, and there's so much pressure and stress in the life that to now go and put more physical strain and stress and pressure on your body physically by tearing it apart in the gym is not what you need to do. And if you start to do that, it won't be long before that starts to, take away from your life. Like, it's taking your energy to do that. This exercise thing that you do needs to be an inspired effort for your day. Like, it picks up your energy for the day, not takes your energy away, that you're now depleted and sore, and now you need to go and eat copious amounts of protein.
You're speaking my language on that, man. I get that's Brody knows, like, running I do and I love it. It makes me energized. I do it every day, but I feel energy from it. But most people would be very exhausted by what I do, but it's not. It's 25 minutes a day, 30 minutes, but I feel more energy. But there was the time, and sometimes still, I do it too hard or I just destroy myself, and then I can't even talk, and it's like not worth it. I'm like, I don't have any ideas, It's like, but anyway, I like what you're saying. Since I haven't met you, I'm just saying that.
And I get caught up in
balance.
the same thing. Yeah, I get caught up even now with my mindset is tear the body down and build it up, and it's good to hear it's good to hear this for me.
This is what we've been taught. This is the idea that's sold to us in the mainstream, education. Like, this is the thing that on the earth, like, education is what's valuable. Western education is what's valued. So you're supposed to get this education. But when you take a look at the education, the Western education leaves out the emotional body.
I joke about in math the quadratic equation. I can do a quadratic equation.
It's all thinking. But it's all masculine or thinking mind.
But my girlfriend, when she dumped me, I couldn't deal with that, and I liked Vicodin. So it's like, why couldn't she help me? Process that stuff.
Because it doesn't address feeling. Like, we haven't been taught to feel. We've been taught to produce and get our value from our production and measure our production by our bank account or by the scale or our waistline, or the size of our bicep, or our bench press, or, this is the measure of the physical world. Like, we've got to get out of this physical, and we've got to get into the metaphysical, which is the energetic body, you have to go to the Eastern thought, to the Chinese medicine, to the meridians, to understand that there is an emotional energy body. Like, the human has a mind and has a body, but is not mind and body, because when the human dies, the mind and body will still be here, but the human is gone. So the human is not the mind and the body, so the human is the energy. But the human has no reference for the energy. And the energy body that we've been taught has been taught through spirituality, which is a very limited view of spirituality. So we've been clipped in the education of the energy body or the emotional body. So we don't have this concept.
People have no idea like, I went to prison and I learned to really meditate, and I had an awakening where I can feel that energy body we're talking about. I actually have reference points now, but until I had the experiences to reference that feeling, I would happen in my life sometimes, and I'm like, what is that? Like, as a kid, I would lay on my bed and I got feeling like I was being pulled off my bed, but I wasn't moving. I'm like, what the? And it was, I was having astral projection experiences when I was a child spontaneously, but now I mastered it. And but I do a lot of Kriya yoga, breathing, spinal stuff while I'm running, to mix in like this opening, the symmetry of all that stuff. So that's really awesome, man. So anyway,
well, this is it. Is that that you need to get into some natural things, like natural movements, like looking at the body naturally. Like, you see the body runs, the body punches, the body kicks, the body jumps, the body balances. Like, these are natural things that the body does, and this is what our training needs to be about. Like, it needs to be a balance and a collective, a collage of all the things that the body's capable of doing, because if I don't train it, then I lose the ability to do it. If I don't practice it or use it, I lose it. Like, this is how the body is. Like, we whatever we don't use atrophies. And whatever we only use in one way, we develop only one way of using it.
And this is like the brain too,
this is all damn work.
We don't use our sense of smell. We don't like as much as we should. We don't use any of our 5, 6 senses. We're visual by nature, and when we don't use that, it atrophies.
We're using the outside eyes only.
I had to learn to stop seeing with my learn to go into my mind the thoughts, which I believe thoughts are a sense in a way. That's how I the same way.
Looking with the inside eye.
The words I put to thoughts is no different than the vibrational senses coming in. They're just in a different order. So I learned there's the emotional body stuff, but it's fascinating to me that you as a muscle head. I mean, this is really cool. Totally different, but you found as you've gotten older, because I have the energy. I don't do the same thing. I have matured now, and in my 35, I really started somehow growing up. Maybe that's the drugs or whatever, but spiritual awakening. But the balancing, it's so important, and I think people don't recognize that at all. It's either they're way physical or way spiritual. It's just either or, and they're not utilizing the full the harmony that they all it comes together. So it's really nice to hear someone that's been through that experience so far. So thank you. So keep going.
Yeah, and I wanted to ask you another question, because we're living in transitional times right now, very chaotic, and I just wanted to know how that was like for you, the whole COVID scare or whatever, that's the fear-mongering. How do you, I know that you have a son that I saw, how do you teach him how to be a genuine being?
I really think, with children, you really can't really force them. You just have to model it. It comes down to modeling. We can't really force anyone. When we try to force or teach, sometimes it seems like force when we're teaching. So rather than teach, I say model, right? Demonstrate it. That's how it happens. And demonstrate what? Like, demonstrate the things that, show that you're not living from the outside. So that means, like, kind of tuning out the outside world a little bit and, demonstrate that you're managing yourself from the inside. So, when I speak to him, like, I speak to him authentically. Like, I'm not worried about the things in the world because I don't really focus on the things in the world. I tune out that sort of stuff. I don't watch that and I don't listen to that or promote that to people. And I say, whatever you're doing, whatever your problems are in your life, like whatever your physical circumstances are around you, like whatever it is, like you have to at some point in your day just put them down. Like in the East, they have this idea, take an act of refuge. It's like you put down your things, your thoughts, your ideas, your things, your trouble.
Yeah, lay down
you
your
just
burden.
Put it down for a second, and you allow infinite possibility to come in. Mm-hmm. Like you put down your stuff to open up possibility and give space to possibility to come in. So by putting down the things, the thoughts, and just focusing on the breath, the inhale and the exhale, coming away from the thinking mind, coming into the parasympathetic or the body mind or the heart center, this happens through deep natural breath. You see, all things in nature are breathing. Mm-hmm. So just being present with your breath, with the nature, is where you can connect with masculine inhale and feminine exhale. You can connect to your energy flow, your energy body, the two sides of yourself, your physical and your ether, or your spiritual or emotional self. So we've got physical body, physical mind, and then we've got spirit body or ether, right? So there's a physical side and there's an ether side.
Yeah.
There's a masculine and a feminine. So that there's basically two ideas here, an inner look into life and an outer look into life, but they're both love.
Yeah.
They're both the same, not one right and one wrong, but we need to exercise both each day, not just one. And we get stuck in the one-sided brain, in the mind, in the righteousness of our mind. We get stuck in the righteousness of my mind. I am right and I'm doing the right thing. And we get stuck in it. And we need to make sure that we put down the mind and pick up the imagination.
So what do you do like a quick each day when you like quickly to put down, like what do you do to take 5 minutes to do this? That happens. That can happen quite simply. Just like, with my movement practice, I do my movements. Mm-hmm. I do physical movements. I focus on my breathing, nice deep full breaths associated with the movements. I combine movement and breath just like it's always been since the beginning of time. Yoga, Tai Chi, martial arts, fitness and health has been trained this way since the beginning of time. Qigong, you can reference thousands of years of practice of movement and breath, where you're letting go of thinking mind and coming into body and breath and presence. Yeah. Because the power is in the present. So coming to present and then using imagination to enter into feeling body. So it's to come into present and then using your mind to imagine things the way that you want them. Not the way that they are, but to project your mind out to the way that you'd like them to be. So it's coming out of the way things are and focusing on the way you'd like them to be. It's a shift of perspective to put down your problem and to pick up your goal. That needs to happen on a daily basis. On when the mind, like that step I found is exactly that. And then what's hard with the egoic mind, the resistance sometimes would prevent me from even, I would imagine it, that's one thing, but to feel it, to become it is a totally different experience. Because I run each day and I do this, I breathe in the same inner, outer, masculine, feminine, and I can, now my whole body, I can feel my right lung, the left, my whole body is so managed in a different way. But each day when I'm trying to create a new reality, to release crap, right? I breathe in and do this, and I have to. There's this openness in my heart. I'm saying this because I'm trying to see if you know what I'm saying. Is this when I open my heart to an idea? There's a real openness, and I feel it. And that fear sometimes of disappointment, things like that, would even prevent me from imagining a possibility. Like I would get so tied in and locked into fear sometimes. This was years back. It would be very hard to even get present enough. So that's why I run. Run helps me get present so I can let go enough of the bullshit to not have so much fear and stuff. So anyway, that's cool. I was just wondering because I do this. I do practice a lot of what you're saying in very similar ways actually with the exercise. And so I'm just wondering if that's the vagus nerve opening. Am I feeling that? Because it's so peaceful. It's just it's bliss, and it comes when I'm in my heart and I open this whole. It's very cool, but it took working through my bullshit, my trauma, my anxiety, all that stuff had to be looked at and processed. Because I had so much pain when I went into my body. There was so much trauma there. I can't explain. I don't know. That's why I'm asking about exercise in the process to get centered. Because a lot of people really struggle to even get to that heart point at all. To even get there, So I didn't know if you had tips for that.
Yeah, I have a 7-day health process where I teach people how to do that with movement and breath and nutrition and fasting. This is what my process is. That's what I teach. It's a 7-day health plan for people. I do that for free for people to show them how to put it all together. But to talk about it a little bit more, you said, is it the vagus nerve or it could be the vagus nerve, it could be the heart chakra, it could be the solar plexus, it could be your third eye, it could be your
incredible. It feels incredible. That's fine.
There's so many things that it could be don't get stuck in what it is, what is it. It could just be, the energy meridians are opening. Just understand that some inner something inside in your inner world is growing. Like I say, just kind of treat that inner world like a little bit of a mystery. Definitely.
I love it.
We try to understand it, of course, but don't worry about trying to understand it so much. Let go of understanding a little bit, and just say I'm just growing a little garden inside of myself. And every day I've got to nurture it and water it and take care of it and speak kindly to it so that it grows up really big and beautiful inside. I want to grow this something really beautiful and big and bright inside. It's a fireball. It's a light ball that I want to grow inside of myself. So I want to think and speak kindly to myself, to that inner child inside of me, and let that child grow up and come out.
Mm-hmm. I love it.
I want to invite that up. I want to intend that to come up. And I want to imagine that rising up inside of me while I breathe. So imagining my inner light growing.
Yeah. No, it's
while
great.
I breathe in and breathe out, rather than speaking, I'm using my imagination.
Yeah, it's incredible.
Just to think in an imaginative way with that idea while you breathe. It's not really a speaking thing. It's more a presence thing.
There's this open to the where. It's like the I to the am. Like the opening, in my heart, I feel it, and it's beautiful, and it's symmetry, and I love it, and I just ask that because I want to be able to share it with people and be like, dude, this is... Because I did so many drugs. I've been to prison. I've had so many psychedelic experiences. I felt every chemical, I've tested them, I've researched dark web, so I know chemistry and all this stuff and I knew how to make myself feel good with anything. I could mix and match. I was a fucking chemist and a pharmacist, dude. But I found this. Now I feel this bliss, this joy that is literally something I can't describe in words. Right. I feel it so wonderfully, and I'm I want to share this with people. I want them to feel this addiction can be better. Things do get better. You don't have to live in that bullshit. So if you have, things if you've come up with that, I didn't know much about you before this, Brody, I thought it was cool or not to, and But if you have a program that does that, that's awesome. So cool.
Oh, you're talking about the inner world there, and you're talking about feelings, and I want you to understand, like, that inner world, that spiritual world, that emotional world, that energy body. Like, there's no words for that. Like, see, the ether is higher in frequency and vibration than the physical.
And
so you see, the physical is the thoughts, the mind, the ideas, or the words. So the thoughts and the words are like of the physical matter, and the ether is of higher frequency. So there's no thoughts or words that go up above.
It's in Kabbalah they talk about there's a step before words, and they have different steps of the Sephiroth, which is actually the step down of God consciousness to inner physical consciousness. And the energy, you can even experience the transitional state when you speak, like running and speaking, how it gets exhausting. The energy is going into the heart center and just coming out. So they say as it goes more physical, like more spoken, energy has to still come from source to be here to make this physical happen, is what I'm saying. So like the more you open, the more you speak, it takes more physical energy and mind. But the thing I feel is definitely there's no words. It's been a really frustrating couple years in a way, because I had an awakening in prison. I had no YouTube. I had no access to anything. I literally had to learn these I thought I was losing my mind, but it was the most wonderful blessing I've ever had. So I've had these experiences. So when I hear someone put more words to what have experienced, it's nice.
So that just comes from a little more time, just being with the energy and recognizing the energy, and also like you said, you talked about the Kabbalah, like understanding some different spiritual ideas that help us to reference it. But this is it. Like these spiritual ideas just kind of give you a mental space.
That's
but
what
really,
they did. It gave me
to kind of direct you there, because really it's to be felt.
Yeah.
It's
and
to
not
be
stuck
felt
in like
you can't really.
Yeah, I grew up rigidity of religion really was very limiting. I was Mormon, and they're wonderful, love and this and community, but also this shame and judgment that people carry, and they just, they're recognizing it now. The world is waking up, so it's just really cool to hear those experiences.
Yeah, and for me, there's a reference point there that is so helpful. Like, for example, when I had my brain surgery, they were telling me that I was fixed, that the brain was not malleable, that this cavernomus malformation that was leaking blood into the rest of my brain and causing me to have seizures, that, hey, you're going to have to live with it, it's fixed. And that was what the doctors told me, that I could not heal. And then I learned a little bit about neuroplasticity and a little Joe Dispenza, and it just woke up. And then finally I'm becoming my own. I'm elevating to new levels, like past from what I learned. But that reference point is what helped me initially, because if I didn't have that little scientific backing, I don't know how much I would have believed in it.
Insane. You feel too insane. Like there's steps in the process. I found the references help move. I feel like there's a tag between my heart, which is like this total no mind, just total existence and being in the mind, and they're just mirroring each other. That's why I call into the mirror is the world is your mirror, right? This is your mirror, and everything is reflected back at you, whatever you're putting out there, So Joe Dispenza, all those people, they're incredible, and some of them I didn't accept at first. I threw half the book away, and I got back to it a year later, and I was like, now it relates. Now I can accept it. It was like, there was definitely times where I'm like, this is insanity. I cannot believe I'm accepting this. I need to go back and take medications, and so there was it was a battle. There was a real fight at first. I am a very powerful being, and my ego will resist me very powerfully.
And as we're younger, it's harder.
Yeah.
As we age, it becomes easier. This is the thing. Once you hit 40, 45, and your hormones start to drop down, then it becomes easier, because right now you're fighting against, as a younger man, up to 35, growth hormone, testosterone.
Yeah.
These things are really firing and pushing your body. like their impulse, like that primitive impulse from those things is causing you to want to thrust out into your life.
Well, yeah, and like sexual energy, that's
sexual energy, all of this stuff is really pushing the life.
It's
so
like,
this is it. Once you get beyond 40, 45, and you come to 50, like those things start to come down in your life.
You can feel it. Like you can feel the older men, like that you can sense testosterone
happens, and so it becomes a little easier over time with this. Like, it's kind of something like, really, I tell people, and you probably heard this, what kind of lifeline is 7 years? Like 7, 14, 21, 28 is the opening of the heart chakra.
Yeah, that 29, Saturn's return, they talk about.
Like it's opening up my voice, right? Like 42, it's opening up my eye. Yeah. And then 49, it's like it's opening up the crown chakra, like the whole site is visible. Like this is the body growing into this full maturity.
Yeah, the full soul
Why
body.
does it not happen for certain people? Like 29 was the when the heart chakra opened for me.
That was my Saturn. Well, in esoteric, Saturn's return.
Why do I go outside and I'll talk to a guy in his 60s and you can tell that he's stuck and he's angry in these things? Why?
Well, it's the soul's journey, right? I would say, because I know the awakening steps can also happen very quickly when you're ready. It's like when you're ready to surrender and not give up, right? It's like it's different. The anger, that frustration, I know really well, because in prison you can feel it in so much hurt men everywhere, and that rigidity, you can feel they're going to have a heart attack if they don't let it go. Like I've noticed, like you can open your shit up. It's not their time, dude. It's their journey. We can't judge them, by our journey by them. You can do it whenever you want.
You got to think about the physical experience, 100 years or whatever. But that soul is kind of incarnating and coming back again until it learns these lessons. Like sometimes the soul needs to go through 7 lifetimes before it's ready to receive a message. Like it needs to kind of come to this experience numerous times before it actually grasps this idea. So it depends on your soul life a little bit.
Yeah,
like,
right. That makes sense. Yeah.
If you look at it from a human sense, it's stupid, and you're so limited. You're looking at half the picture.
Yes, but we can't evaluate and judge the other. We can only kind of use that on ourselves. Like, don't look to the other, because you don't know what the other has done or what the other's purpose or point is for their life. Like, only look to how life is speaking to you. Just like you need to turn out the outside life and what everyone else is thinking and saying about you and what the television is thinking and saying, we also need to turn off our critical eye of our brother. Like, stop looking at the other man and saying, oh, well, why doesn't he do it? So then maybe it can't be true
fuck that. I'm not part of that.
Just because of that, like, don't do this. Like, focus in on your belief and your inner power. Like, I have the power to fix and change and heal my life. So take full responsibility. Like, I'm taking charge
you're
of
sovereign,
my life.
you're creator. That's the thing I learned is, like, one reason I got through addiction, I can tell you, is I accept my sovereignty, whether bad or good. I accepted my actions always. I never would blame others. I was very gifted with this. I'm not saying this pridefully, but I was able to look at those things and just fucking be better. Like, to actually, I guess it was just like an ability to be responsible and accountable helped save me in the end. I can tell you that is the difference between why I got better. I was practicing Kriya Yoga on the yard, why the Serenos would laugh at me, like, look at that white boy, look what he's doing. And it was fucking weird. I was getting like it felt like, lightheaded. I was learning about my breathing and my body and all this stuff. But anyway, it's so powerful when we can surrender, when we can, like, let go of the rigidity of the child, like the know-it-all. Like, my dad was very successful in venture capital and business, and I admired him. I thought he was, like, I don't know if I would put the words cool with my dad, but he had money, he had the nice car and all this stuff, and I loved it, and and I admired it, and it wasn't bad. Like, he loved it. It wasn't just business. It was actually love of things. Like, it was, and everyone noticed it. They noticed the presence he had, right? So I'm just saying that because I love business. I love those things, and I don't want to diminish that experience of creating those things for people, but it also was very limiting to be in like the neighborhood where all the guys have the different BMW. Look, I got the new version. My dad would sell it.
This is it. You know, I think our parents got stuck in like just the stuff.
Yeah.
I think, you know, our dads did this.
And he got
not to knock it.
His journey. He became rich in that he died of leukemia actually at 46. So,
but this is the thing. Like, we didn't get fulfillment in the life. So like, to be fulfilled really is to fill it inside of myself and then see that from my filled heart.
Yeah.
That I attract.
Yeah.
The opportunities and the experiences that lead me to afford a Ferrari or a Lamborghini.
My cup runneth over, right? My cup runneth over.
Yes, and it attracts and it brings that in. It doesn't mean you can't have it. It means you get it rather than trying to build out your business.
Yeah,
but you're building it within yourself.
It's like the foundations, even like these podcasts and the people and growing we're growing a tribe of people. That's a tribe of people awakening, and
what we want.
We're trying to connect to people, right? And anyway, it's like business. You have to deal with technology and all this shit and stuff that I'm actually good at, but I hated having to come back into left brain. I'm telling you, I left it for a while. I was free in the mystical. I went from engineering mind to mystical mind, and I did not want to go back into the limiting. I didn't want to go back into the thoughts of like sickness and cancer and all of these addiction. And it was like I was free. My heart runneth over, right? But now, practicing in the world, doing both, integrating.
This is the thing, we have to be in the world, right? Like, we still have to pay these bills, right?
Yeah,
like,
gosh damn it, why can't I manifest that all the way away? And I'm
I know, like, why can't that just come like
disappear?
Boom, like
Let's not even worry about money. Let's just manifest, those things, which are all possibilities, but we have to believe it. That's the funny part. We're like, you say it, you have to believe. I can tell you, I left prison 2 years early on a whim, on manifestation and on love. I got through addiction to fentanyl and heroin, and Oxycontin and all that stuff through all this stuff you're talking about. So anyway, I actually have a doctor's appointment in the next 10 minutes. I need to leave, but I think I would love to talk to you again on another episode, but I'm ending my talking there because I'll keep talking forever. Brody, you have anything?
I would love to have you guys, try out my 7-day health plan. Like, if you would be interested in giving it a try, I'd love to take you guys through it. I would love to just get a testimony from you.
I'll try it out for you, man.
Sure.
I'll do it.
I would love to get the testimonial from you guys, like, you tried it and this is what I found from it.
I'm really interested to learn more about the natural movement, because right now I'm still in that mindset of tearing my body apart with big weights, and so like
normal
I
stuff, brother. I think it's normal, and I think like until I was 35, like I just couldn't seem to get my head around this idea that I had to stop trying to shame myself because I'm not good enough, but just like work on my best self every day. Like, if I work on my best self every day, I will become my best. But it doesn't mean that I need to, like, tear myself. I just have to believe that what's in me is good enough for me in my life, and I need to let it come out. So I need to kind of cue in my best every single day, and that doesn't mean tearing me. It just means, like, getting into my best exerting.
It's like I run on the track. I run on the trail.
Serotonin and dopamine going, getting my growth hormone, testosterone going, getting my oxygen going, like emptying my body from the physical mess that's in it, and resetting it physically, mentally, nutritionally,
clear,
intentionally, and imagination. The two sides of myself, my brain and my heart. Yeah, I've got to balance that every day, and if I dial in that balance every day, that will just grow my energy.
It's like that love of self. It's love. I call it just love. I know it's good energy, but love, because I run and I'll be on the trail and it's like I'm a kid. Like I'll feel it and I put my arms out like I'm flying with my dog, and she runs with me, and people, I know they laugh, but they feel the joy. They feel and I'm working hard. I work hard, but it's a difference in my way I work on my body now. No, I don't have any supplements. My testosterone levels are all actually naturally higher. Then no need for any of those things. That's what's so amazing.
That's such a popular thing to get into hormone therapy for men and for women. Like we're all sold on this. Like just take this testosterone
You'll
out of
feel alive again.
Yes, feel alive again. But I tell you that there's a purpose for this. Like there's a reason why it's coming down, because it's for the second half of your life.
Like now I've been really aligning with that thought process of just going with the flow, letting my body do the loving thing.
How does that work? Last question, I suppose, before we knock off. How does that relationship work, like with your partner? How do you, with your acceptance of hormones level going down, how does that relationship shift?
Like I've been with my wife for 25 years. So again, like that. I have 3 kids, 19, 18, and 11. Like relationship over time. What I've learned for relationship over time is like, can you think of someone in your life that you would like to stay in a room with for 7 days? Like your mom, your father, your brother. Like you'd be fighting with anyone in 7 days. There's no one that you can live with forever. Like no one is going to make you happy. Like we have to recognize that a partnership needs to be 2 independent, fully independent individuals that are sovereign and autonomous and fueling themselves independently. And then they choose to stay together. Now, that doesn't happen when you're 20 and 30. Like, you're just not ready to, like, you just kind of got the movie idea about love. Like, like you fall in love and that's like you're hot and it's horny. And I've
had to love myself now, like learn to actually what that means, what an integrated me is. And as I found that, then I meet people much, much better. I was in cells with men that I didn't want to be with, and it was awful. I know 7 days, like learning not to get rigid and all hot in a room. Like I have like I get it. So anyway, I really appreciate everything, and I'm going to end the recording, and then we can just talk. But John, I'm going to try your program out. I'll definitely do it. I appreciate it. We definitely, as the show grows, and have you back on again and talk more,
absolutely.
A lot about the mystical side to it, and I do too, and Brody knows I love that, and we can have a whole different dialogue about that.
Oh, yeah. We can talk about the spiritual side of it. Sure, we can talk about the spiritual ideas.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
all right, Brody.
About unfooding.
Want to end the recording? You got anything else for the end?
Yeah, I would say it's really about letting go of food. Like we've been taught, like it's about eating and getting, and we've fallen in love and we've gotten into a habit of eating 3, 4, 5 meals a day. But truly, this is not how the human was. Like 100 years ago, we weren't eating 3, 4, 5
I don't.
meals a day.
I work out very hard, and I do not need the calories that they say. I don't even. My body is perfectly balanced weight-wise too. So I had to test these waters and see. You
have to test it to kind of see and realize that actually, wait, I have more energy when I have when I take
when
less.
I don't eat as much.
So,
all right, guys, I'm going to end the recording. Thank you,
all right.
Coach.
Unfooding, right, John?
Yeah,
unfooding. That's right.
Yeah. Everyone deals with this one. Like, this is a great food. All right, let me end the